The business, motherfucker.
The Daily Read. Your source for news, politics, sports, and all things trending. Here's your host, Marcus Gentry.
Positive for marijuana, which she said she used to help cope with the death of her biological mother. That positive test had validated her result from the trial, so she could not compete at the Olympics. But her situation generated a lot of sympathy, and the track world has been eagerly awaiting her return to the track today, exactly 9 weeks after that stirring victory on this track in June.
Finals. Here is Sha'Carri Richardson, number 6 all time. She has 1 loss this year at 100 meters. That was in Gateshead back in May.
Welcome to the Daily Read, people. I had to share that with you because there was a lot of hype around this Sha'Carri Richardson. The young Jamaican woman actually is the second fastest woman in the world of all time. That's who Sha'Carri had to face in the Olympics. Now, she came in 9th place. 9th place, people. Today's show is not even about Sha'Carri. You know, we know she smoked a little weed. She got banned from the Olympics. And I just want to touch on that briefly because, you know, I don't avoid no controversy here on this show. You know, I dig it. I dig it. And like I told you before, when she got busted smoking weed, she threw everything in the garbage. And by seeing her run, it looked like she was running through mud. Every woman on that field left her. Now, people could say she might not have been working out properly since she didn't go to the Olympics. But I'm going to tell you something about these Olympic people. They train and work out year round. Year round. And if she fast, she fast. Now, the real of what went on with that, I'm gonna break that down for y'all so y'all can have an understanding. The young woman that won the gold medal from Jamaica, her gold medal would have always been a doubt, a question mark put over it because of what Sha'Carri did. By Sha'Carri smoking weed, that left a gap in people saying that if she wouldn't have smoked weed and went into the Olympics, she would have beat all of those women. So now what they done is, see, these Olympic people, they train all year round. The Olympics comes around once every 4 years. And if these people don't train all year round, they're not going to make it to the Olympics. So they had another race competition after the Olympics, okay, which is what Sha'Carri participated in. Every one of those girls that she ran against was in the Olympics. Most of those girls won medals. Understand what I'm trying to tell you, people. This is the system's way of letting you know that don't put no question mark over this girl from Jamaica. Don't put no question mark over this woman because Sha'Carri didn't make it to the Olympics. She just dusted everybody. Sha'Carri came in 9th place. I'm going to say that again, people. 9th place. This young woman from Jamaica, I'm going to find her name. I had it written down somewhere. This young woman from Jamaica, the only person that ever beat her in that time is Flojo. That means she's the second fastest woman in the world of all time. The second. So I'm gonna put that to rest. We're gonna put that to the side. 3 more years from now, when the Olympics come around again, if Sha'Carri still want to run, she's still in the training. Because I'm gonna tell you something about I'm not calling her a dog or an animal, but I'm gonna give y'all a reality check. When they fight pit bulls and a pit bull loses, more than likely they put him out, they put him to rest because the dog is no more good. This woman with all of this hype, you know, the flowing reddish pink hair and all of this stuff, the long nails, it was a lot of hype around her. She didn't stand up to that hype. She came in 9th place. So, to be honest with you, I don't think she's going to even go to the next Olympics. She might surprise me. But this right here is devastating. You know, I understand, you know, your mom, your biological mother passed away, you know, you shouldn't have never even went. If you still feeling depressed, sad about, you know, your family member passing away, that's understandable. Bow out. Just say, man, you know, I can't race right now. But this looks bad, people. This looks bad. But we're going to move on, because today's show, we're going to be talking about is Afghanistan this generation's Vietnam? I think it is, but it isn't. Okay? Now, the reason why I think it is because the similarities are there, but it isn't, because we are the Taliban. I'm gonna let that sit on your soul for a minute. Like I say, I don't duck and dodge no controversy. We are the Taliban, people. Y'all don't get this, you don't understand it. I'm gonna explain it to you later on in the show. Okay? I'm gonna explain it to you. But one of the things before we get into this first commercial break I want to talk about is the rise of white supremacy violence. Not just in the cops, because the white cops have always been brutal when it comes to black people and more passive when it comes to white people. But there's an uptick all across this country on violence from whites against blacks. And violence against the government, period. There was a man just recently sitting outside the Library of Congress in a truck saying that he had a bomb. My thing is, why is he still alive? They managed to capture him, put him in jail, you know, without a shot fired. And I tell people all the time, man, you know, you know, the bigotry and the racism is all around us. It's all around us. The way they treat others compared to the way they treat minorities in this country, it's sad. You know, black man have been sitting in that truck, the sniper would have took him out. Watch this clip.
We have some new information on the ongoing breaking news situation near the Capitol. Right now, you're looking at the pickup truck. This is the pickup truck that's outside the Library of Congress that the man inside claims has an explosive device in it. Now, multiple senior law enforcement officials briefed on the situation say the man in the truck is named Floyd Ray Roseberry. He's a 49-year-old man whose last known address is in Grover, North Carolina. Officials say the man has posted videos from the truck on his Facebook account that has since now been deactivated.
Now, this guy all the way from North Carolina, people. All the way from North Carolina goes to the Capitol. You know, thinking he finna blow up something. Be aware, especially if you're a minority in this country. Be aware, because at any given moment a white supremacist can do something to you. In Mississippi, I read an article that the FBI is secretly investigating a group of black murders down in Mississippi, and they're trying to say it might be possible lynchings. Be aware, people. You know, I tell my daughters all the time, especially my daughter that lives in Missouri. Missouri is a radically racist state. Missouri is almost bad as Mississippi. But I tell my daughters all the time, you know, be aware, because it's happening right before our eyes. See, the thing about it is there's so many people in America that, okay, I'm gonna explain it to you a better way. I'm gonna explain it to you a better way so you can understand what I'm about to say. All right, we finna have a brutally real conversation right now about how many people is actually in America and in the world. At any given time, because of an FBI report that I read, at any given time in America, there are 7, I repeat, 7 serial killers operating in America. I'm gonna let that sink in for a minute. At any given time, because of the FBI report that I read, it said at any given time in America, there are 7 serial killers operating in America. That means somewhere in America, there's a man or a woman going around killing people, stashing their bodies somewhere, making them disappear. But there's so much gobbledygook and junk in the news dealing with our politics and our government that nobody even hears about it. But the FBI are aware of it. Okay, I'm gonna let that sink in. Right now in Mississippi, the FBI is investigating a group of black people being murdered. Okay? And this is serious business. A group of black people done came up dead and they trying to say these are connected to some kind of white supremacist lynchings. Be careful. If you're a minority in this country, get out here, keep an eye on your surroundings. But like I say, today's show is not on that. It's not, but you know, I just want to give a public service announcement, because by me being in the media and studying for my show, I come across this stuff that don't even make it to the news. And then I have to decide, you know, what I want to talk about on my show. So be aware of this stuff, people. You know, you ladies that go out here to do these modeling gigs, sometimes you'll jump in your car by yourself and go to Atlanta or go to Virginia or go someplace to do a modeling show, you know, or some of you guys that might got an event somewhere to do a rap show or a hip hop show or singing audition. Be aware, because it might not be the ops getting at you. You know, we like to say that word, the ops. You know, it could be some white guy in a pickup truck, you know, drag you off in the woods somewhere you'll never be heard from again. So I'm going to go into this next commercial break, and when we get out, we're going to start talking about Afghanistan, and is America war in Afghanistan this generation's Vietnam. We'll be back.
The business, motherfucker.
The Daily Read.
Me and Bae gon' always be tight, though you not with me every single day and night. Even when they start to acting like a fool, yeah, they loving every single thing you do. You know that they can always be themselves. They love each other more than anybody else. And every day as you see them on YouTube, you know there's not one, it'll always be just two. Family to me, they'll push your buttons. It makes me wanna cry, guys. Within the family, too stupid family.
The business, motherfucker.
The Daily Read.
Fair, we had helped to create the problem we're now fighting. How? Because when the Soviet Union invaded Afghanistan, we had this brilliant idea that we were going to come to Pakistan and create a force of mujahideen, equip them with Stinger missiles and everything else to go after the Soviets inside Afghanistan. And we were successful. The Soviets left Afghanistan, and then we said, great, goodbye, leaving these trained people who were fanatical in Afghanistan and Pakistan, leaving them well armed, creating a mess, frankly, that at the time we didn't really recognize. We were just so happy to see the Soviet Union fall, and we thought, okay, fine, we're okay now. Everything's going to be so much better. Now you look back, the people we're fighting today, we were supporting in the fight against the Soviets.
That was an old interview that Hillary Clinton did, people. I got that from TYT, the Young Turks. You guys need to watch the Young Turks. They're a good show. I love them. Anna and Jake, they got it going on. They do good work, people. And I watch a lot of different progressive news channels. There's many more out there. And you guys pick up on this stuff and watch them. But that was an old interview that Hillary Clinton did back in the days, explaining the rise of the Taliban. You see, the Taliban was us. We created that. We trained them to fight our enemies, Russia. You see, let me take a sip of this coffee real quick before I get into this, because this is some deep stuff. And if you're not aware of this stuff because you just watch, you know, sports or stuff like that on news, you're not going, or you just watch the crime series on the news, who done shot who or who done robbed somebody at the bank, you're not going to understand and be aware of this stuff. But hold on just a second. Let me get me coffee. Let me get some coffee in me, people. Okay, let me get this right. We couldn't fight Russia head on. You got one superpower which has nuclear weapons. You got another superpower that has nuclear weapons. A fight between Russia and the United States is going to cause a nuclear war that's going to leave the planet Earth barren. Okay? So what we do is they play chess. Russia played chess with us by helping getting Donald Trump elected, because Russia knew Donald Trump was going to be bad for this country. We played chess with Russia by training a radical group of men and women called the Taliban. We gave them missiles. We sent our Green Berets in to help them train them, teach them guerrilla warfare. And these are the men who turned around and bit us in the ass when they blew up the Twin Towers. Okay? Now, you got to understand how this working. This is chess. This is not checkers. These people are playing powerful games in government. They're not out here playing checkers or tic-tac-toe. They're playing chess on the world stage. So we create the Taliban. The Taliban gets mad at us and come over here, blow up some stuff, and then we go to war. Okay? The same thing happened back then is happening right now. When we pulled out of Afghanistan, we left a lot of military equipment in Afghanistan. They're going to use that military equipment. Now, I'm not saying they're going to use it to fight against us right now. It might be 20 years from now. But there's a reason they call Afghanistan the graveyard of empires. Because people don't last long in Afghanistan. Ever since the Syrians and all of that back in the 16, 15, 1400s. Empires have risen and fallen in Afghanistan. The reason why is because there's so many foothills and mountainous areas in Afghanistan that militaries can hide in and wait out the people that's occupying their country. They can sneak in under the cover of darkness and blend in with the community and murder you. That's the reason why it's hard to fight against people like that. Afghanistan has repelled Russia, us, and the English, the British. These are some tough radical people. These are the people they call the head choppers. They don't play no games. Just like you got people in America who love Christianity, these people love Islam. They love it. And just like you got people over here who will sacrifice in the name of Christianity, you got people over there that will sacrifice in the name of Islam and kill you. This is not a game. Everybody wants to talk bad about Joe Biden, the job he's doing getting people out of Afghanistan. People don't realize that Donald Trump and his bigotry is the reason why we're having so much trouble getting our people that helped us out of Afghanistan. I'm gonna explain it to you later on in the show. Let's get into this next clip.
The events we're seeing now are sadly proof that no amount of military force would ever deliver a stable, united, secure Afghanistan, as known in history as the graveyard of empires. What's happening now could just as easily happen 5 years ago or 15 years in the future. We have to be honest. Our mission in Afghanistan is taking many missteps, made many missteps over the past 2 decades.
Now, those missteps he's talking about, he's trying to put a polite light on it. We could have did better by those people, but the bigotry of America is so deep that we didn't even want to bring our allies to this country. You see, the white supremacists have infiltrated our government so bad that when we go over here and fight wars, and we have people who are native to that country, who live in that country, to help us fight those wars, we promise them that, look, America's free. We have all types of races in America, different types of people in America. We're going to bring you to America if you help us. But the bigots have taken over America. So when Donald Trump decided to pull the troops out, the biggest that's in his ears telling him, leave all them refugees. If they get killed, that's their business. Leave them over there. So Donald Trump started bringing the troops home when he was in office. Joe Biden won the presidency, so he took over basically a retreat. Our soldiers are coming home. Joe Biden cannot stop that because Donald Trump bragged about it, how he set it up to where the troops are coming home regardless, and Joe Biden can't do nothing about it, which is true. The process was already in the making. So now, what they're not telling you is Donald Trump didn't set nothing up for the people that helped us over there to come home with us, because they don't want them here. They don't even want Hispanics and Mexicans here. I'm hoping y'all getting an understanding of what I'm saying. The bigotry runs so deep.
I'm now the 4th American president to preside over war in Afghanistan. 2 Democrats and 2 Republicans. I will not pass this responsibility on to a 5th president. I will not mislead the American people by claiming that just a little more time in Afghanistan will make all the difference. Nor will I shrink from my share of responsibility for where we are today and how we must move forward from here. I am President of the United States of America, and the buck stops with me.
That's refreshing, people. That's refreshing to hear finally a United States president say, look, I'm the president right now, and everything that's going on right now falls on my shoulders. That's refreshing. I don't know about you, but the last 4 years has been a big headache. I'm talking about a huge headache. You can't even take a whole bottle of aspirin to get this headache off, dealing with Donald Trump and his administration. These people are con men. bigots, and they don't want nothing in this country to do with anything other than white people. You got to have an understanding about this. This is serious. I'm finna get into this next commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about how the retreat out of Afghanistan by our troops is similar to Vietnam. In fact, Afghanistan is this generation's Vietnam. So when we get back, we're going to talk about that.
The business, motherfucker.
The Daily Read.
I'm ready.
Camera's ready.
I'm ready. Welcome to Are You Scared Talent Shows. It's a new talent show that we put on TV for y'all to get used to because these people can't act. And so we're going to show y'all what the real deal is when you get on front of the camera and what some garbage acting look like. I tell you, garbage acting. This is Are You Scared Talent Shows, okay? We're going to show y'all some acts of some talents. $5,000. It really ain't $5,000. I just said $5,000 because $5,000 sound like some people want to come and join a talent show if it was paying $5,000. So I'm your host, Eric Jones. Are You Scared Talent Shows?
The business, motherfucker.
The Daily Read.
As of tonight, the Biden administration and the American military have managed to evacuate 7,000 people from Afghanistan after the capital city of Kabul came under the control of the people who won the war. In Vietnam in 1975, after Saigon, then the capital city of South Vietnam, fell under the complete control of the North Vietnamese army, Republican President Gerald Ford was able to get absolutely no one out of Vietnam. No one.
Like I said, you got a lot of people criticizing Joe Biden by how he's handling the evacuation of our allies in Afghanistan. Okay, now you got to understand, the last time that we had to evacuate Vietnam, we couldn't get any of our allies out. There was a lot of people died after we left. They were murdered. Okay, this is a reality check for us Americans, black, white, whatever color you are. The beginning of war, people are going to die. Men, women, and children. During a war, people are going to die. Men, women, and children. When the war is over with, people are going to die. Men, women, and children. That's the facts of war. Okay? We got to get that understood. It's not right. It shouldn't have to be like that. But the reason why the Taliban seems so cool and calm right now, after they took over Afghanistan and they're not doing anything right now on TV, is because all they're doing is waiting for Americans to finally pull out the last time. Once that last helicopter, that last B-52 bomber, that last airplane leaves Afghanistan, the Taliban are going to go around arresting and beheading and stoning to death people who are gay, who are allies of America, people who helped us during the Afghanistan war, interpreters that we left behind. You know, a lot of this stuff you're not even going to see on TV. You're not even going to see it. But people are going to die over there. That's the reason why the Taliban is acting so cool and calm right now. They're not acting up. They're not shooting at nobody. They're not beheading nobody. Because whatever agreement that Donald Trump put in place, I'm almost willing to guarantee you he told the the Taliban, when them diplomats met up with the Taliban, I'm almost guarantee you that Donald Trump told the Taliban, whatever you do to these people, it's not our business, but only do it once we leave. Because Donald Trump is all about how it looks. He don't want bad publicity. And if people go around beheading people and executing people while the troops are moving out, it would have looked bad on Donald Trump. So what I'm seeing right now is, if you think about what I'm saying, just really contemplate on what I'm saying, is this is a sobering moment for people. Elections have consequences. Find out about the people you're trying to elect as your president, as your mayor, as your governor, because a lot of these people, they have a deep-seated bigotry and hatred in their heart, and it's coming out. It's coming out. They don't want those refugees here, and they really don't care if they get beheaded over there. They don't care. I'm not saying Joe Biden doesn't care. He's trying everything he can to get the people out of there that he needs to get out of there. But the Trump administration, they the ones put all of this in motion and didn't even try, and I mean didn't even try, to help get those people out of there. Let's go on to the next clip. This is a sobering moment for America.
The Biden-run evacuation is well on its way to evacuating many more people than the American military was able to evacuate from Vietnam in the final days. In Vietnam, the Americans were being driven out of the country at gunpoint. In Afghanistan, so far, the Taliban have not fired a shot at the American military.
I just explained to you why. The Taliban has not made any moves. They haven't executed anybody. One woman, a reporter here in America who has a friend over there, said that her friend calls her crying because there are Taliban soldiers posted up outside of her house, keeping her from leaving her compound, watching her every move, because they're waiting. They're waiting for the last American troops to pull out before they enact their plan on mass executions. Because like I said, Donald Trump put this in motion. Donald Trump is one of those people who, how things look in the public eye, when he really doesn't care. That's the reason why he has one or two black people behind him when he's doing a speech at a rally. You always see the token Negro. That's what I call it, the token Negro. You always see the token Negro, standing somewhere behind Donald Trump. It might be an older black woman, black guy, somebody holding up minorities for Trump when that's a lie. Black people for Trump, standing there's a crowd of white people. 50 to 60 white people standing behind Donald Trump on the stage, and you got one black face in the crowd. Those what you call token Negroes. Because Donald Trump, he cares about how things look. And I'm willing to guarantee you the deal he made with the Taliban on taking over that country, don't you do nothing against these people we leave behind until we actually leave. And it's whatever you do with your country, that's your business. And it's going to be a lot of people die over there. Most of it's going to be off screen. You're not even going to see it. Every now and then reporters might catch a beheading here on camera, or somebody getting hung, or somebody getting thrown off a building, but reporters need to understand, when you go over to Afghanistan after Americans leave, your life might be in danger. So It's gonna get real. It's gonna get real very quick for those people that we leave behind over there. Once we leave, it's gonna get real, and it's gonna be deadly, and it's gonna be disgusting. Let's get into this next clip.
The final days in both countries are filled with stories of American military heroism, but they are also demonstrations of the American military's continuing inability to invade a country, spend 20 years losing a war, and then evacuate in a way that meets with the approval of an American news media filled with people who think they know how to do what the American military has never been able to do.
Now, I'm going to give Lawrence O'Donnell, I'm going to give him credit. I watch his show sometimes because he's one of those guys who you could tell he leans Democrat, but he's one of those news reporters who tries his best to keep it real with the American people. He's telling people who are criticizing Joe Biden that the criticism is in the wrong place. Donald Trump set this up. Joe Biden has to finish it because everything that he set up, you can't go back and undo. Those troops started being pulled out of Afghanistan months before Joe Biden even became president. We started destroying bases. We started destroying equipment. We started flying equipment out. Those are what you call logistics. You see, I wanna explain it to you because, you know, as you see this flag is my mother's flag, and my daughter, my youngest girl, she's in the military right now. So I come from, and my father was in Vietnam. So I come from a military background and a military family. And a lot of people who've never been around the military, you can only see it on TV, you know, you support the troops and stuff like that. I've actually lived on military bases. I've visited military bases. I recently had to go see my daughter who just had a baby in Missouri at Fort Leonard Wood. You see, logistics, the military is like a huge machine. The United States government is like a huge machine, and it's slow to react. But once the wheels started turning, you can't get in front of it and stop it and reverse it. So when Donald Trump started bringing these troops home, it cost millions of dollars to destroy this equipment, load this equipment up, and bring all of this equipment back home. So the only way Joe Biden could have stopped it is spent a lot of money to reverse everything and send it back over there. Send all the troops back over there. Like I said, it's a slow moving machine, but once it gets moving, you can't stand in front of it. You can't change it. You can't reverse it. So basically Joe Biden's hands are tied. He has to finish this. He's doing the best he can. And and all this criticism from the left, from the Democrat side about, you know, he's leaving all those people over there to die. He didn't start that. He's doing the best he can to get the people out of there that helped us. But Trump had people he put in place to stop refugees from coming over here. Because they have bigotry in their heart. They don't want nobody else in this country besides really white people. You know, the people that's already here, they deal with us. But they already have fear in their heart that whites are becoming a minority in this country. They just had a census come out that says for the first time since the 1930s, whites, as far as the population, has went down. That means in another 50, 60 years, the population of whites compared to the population of minorities is going to be almost the same. That scares white people. It scares them. So what's happening is they're trying to do any and everything they can. They don't care if them people over there get slaughtered. They just don't want them here. Because once they get here, they're going to start having babies. And then their babies are going to be listed as minorities in America. You can't kick the babies out because the babies were actually born here. They're Americans once they come here. Let's get into this last clip.
No one is telling you that the Russians did a much better job of invading Afghanistan, losing the war there, and then evacuating. No one is holding up the Russian evacuation of Afghanistan as the model. No one is holding up the evacuation of any defeated army from a foreign country as the model. And of course, no one is holding up the American evacuation of Vietnam as the model of how to do this, because the American evacuation of Vietnam was much, much worse in every way, by every measure. Every war produces a limitless flow of tragic individual stories. The end of every war produces a similar flow of tragic individual stories, but no individual story can tell you what your war policy should be or should have been.
That's why I like O'Donnell. You know, Lawrence, he tries his best to keep it real, and he's basically telling you that your expectations on people surviving this is too high. The criticism that a lot of our news media and people who have this sense of everybody should be, safe and alive, and basically what I'm saying is, you got people out here who have their heads in the clouds. Okay? You got people out here who really in their mind think that, in times of war, when there's death and destruction everywhere, that everybody should make it out. It's not going to happen. There was a thing that I saw about shock and awe. Shock and awe is when a military goes into a country. The Bush administration started this. Before they would send the troops in there, they would bomb a city from the water, from the ocean. They would send missiles in, knock out all the water plants, all the power plants, destroy all the roads. That way soldiers can't move around easy. It's called shock and awe. They shock you and they awe you with all of this military missiles, and they try to hit targets outside the city. People die in shock and awe. Okay? Understand what I'm saying? If a military organization hits a power plant, people that work at that power plant are going to die. They're not telling you that. What the news tell you is the military bombed all of the utilities to kill the power in a city in Afghanistan. They destroyed all of the water treatment plants. They destroyed the main roads to keep the military on their side from moving around easy. They're not telling you that people die when that happens. It's a smart strategy when it comes to war. It's a smart strategy, but people die when that happens. It's called shock and awe. If you knock out the lights, the utilities, they can't keep their food cold. That means their food are going to spoil. If you knock out the water treatment plants, they won't have water. So what that does is, by the time the military soldiers come in, those people are ready to give up. You see, that's how it works. But people get killed in time of shock and awe. Not just the whole war, but just the shock and awe part of the beginning of a war. So, so people's expectations of Joe Biden is so high, and it's getting ridiculous, because I'm hearing people that I like, pretty much as far as newscasters go, talking bad about how Joe Biden's not doing correct and this and that. His hands are tied. It's only so much he can do. He saved more people than we even saved in Vietnam. We couldn't bring nothing. We didn't save none of those people. A lot of those people that helped us during Vietnam, fight the Viet Cong, them people got executed. They had to hide. They had to run to other countries. So, you know, this is just a reality check for us Americans that we have allowed the bigotry in this country to infiltrate every aspect of our government to the point where we're going back on our word to people that helped us. What that's going to do is going to cause us to radicalize even more people. Think about that. We're going to radicalize even more people in Afghanistan because some of those people are going to survive and they're never going to forget this. They're never going to forget the fact that Americans came in here, promised us that if we help them and help interpret, you know, language and help them fight against other Afghanistan people, that they was going to take care of us and get our families out. They're not going to forget this. So we might just be seeing the rise of another Al-Qaeda or another Taliban group that rises up out of this. I hope you guys learned something from today's show. As far as my book go, We Dads Can Cook Too. I have a book out on Amazon. You can get it in paperback, or you can get it on Kindle or your tablet. I think the paperback is 50 recipes. I think the paperback is $23, and I know it seems kind of high, but the cost of producing books, has risen. Everybody has Kindles and iPads now. So if you buy the book on a laptop or a Kindle or have it stored on your computer, it's going to cost you like $4.50 or $4.90, something like that. But if you actually buy the paperback version, the hard copy, it's going to cost you around $20 to $23. So, you know, depending on where you get it at, they have discounts in some places that you can get my book. I do have, it's called All Urban Access. I do have my own television channel coming. Okay, this is a good thing, people. BET started off like this. I will be able to host other people's shows on my platform. Okay, so all you content creators out there, reach out to me if you want to host your own podcast on my platform. It will be on Roku TV. You're going to be in front of millions of people because Roku is in everybody's household. I have 2 or 3 Roku TVs in my house right now. So, just keep that in mind moving forward. Matter of fact, when I get off of line today, I'm going to start working on my broadcast station right now. So this is the Daily Read, people, and I'm out.
The business, motherfucker.
The Daily Read.